So if you've got a Husqvarna lawn tractor like this one behind me here, you might want to watch my videos. I've got we got 4 segments coming up. The first one is going to be how to remove the flywheel. It's a 23 horsepower V-twin Kohler engine. We got some problems underneath the flywheel. So if you got charging system problems, you might want to watch that. The second part is going to be repairing the flywheel, which could save you hundreds of dollars. So you may want to watch that as well. I've got another section where we just show how we can clean the engine off a little bit in preparation for putting it back together. Just a couple little things that I do, make it a little easier. And then the last section, I am going to talk about how to install a voltmeter so you can keep an eye on your battery. You can always know the status of the battery. So anyhow, these 4 segments coming up. I hope you find them interesting. There's a lot of guys out there who have these Kohler engines that are on these tractors, and I hope it helps you. Be sure to like and subscribe if you find any of my content useful. Thank you. Give it a couple of twists. So today I got something a little bit different. We bought this Husqvarna lawn tractor, really cheap. The guy had it. He was having troubles with it. Didn't really know what he was doing. Just wanted to get rid of it. We took a look at it. We found a couple of problems with it. It turns out it's very common for these particular engines with the Kohler engines. The V-twin. This is a 24 horsepower. I'm going to show you a couple of things you need to look at if you have a tractor like this and are having problems with it. Here we go. So obviously, first thing we're going to do is we're going to open this up and take a look at it. So you look at this flywheel on this thing. See how rusty this is? One of the things I noticed when we checked it out originally was we did turn it. It did have good compression, but it's making this horrible sound when you turn the flywheel. Can you? I don't know if you can hear that. I ran into this once before where the magnets that are inside of the flywheel that generate the power for the system came loose in there, delaminated. So, and the only way you can get to them, obviously, is to pull the flywheel off. But now this flywheel, if you look at it, it's not drilled. It's not drilled and tapped for a puller. So I got to drill and tap it. We'll pull the flywheel off. My guess is we'll find those magnets all broken loose in there. And of course the problem with that is that it no longer will charge the battery. You know, when you have it running, your battery will keep running down. You have to keep charging it manually when you run the tractor. Now, we did get this running. He did have some other problems. We put a new fuel pump on it to actually get it started. It does run, but let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at getting us flywheel off here and see what we can find. All right, so the first thing we got to do is locate where we want to drill these holes. So our puller, which we're going to be using, which you've probably seen this before if you saw any of my other videos. So it typically can pull up when there's 3 holes, or if they're right across from each other when there's only 2. So this is going to take 2. So I do see there's a little indentation there, but what we're going to have to do is use our center punch. I'm going to try and locate a spot right here which looks reasonable. Give it a whack. I'm going to come over here, try and get one. I'm just eyeballing this, of course, but try and get it right in the center of that radii. Give it another good whack. That way the drill won't walk around. So now, let me get the drill over here, which I forgot to grab. And I want to be cautious to try and get that drill when I drill and tap it. I want to try and get it as straight in there as I can, so I don't run the risk of bending the bolts when I pull on it. I want to be able to pull straight up. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'll get on that center punch and drill just a little deeper there, just to get it started. Do the same thing over here. I should be able to tell when I get through. I don't want to go driving it down in there if I can help it after I break through. Like that. And then we'll catch this other one here too. Trying to hold it straight. Trying to hold it straight. Getting toward the end, I think. I'm letting off the pressure a little bit. All right, we're through. All right. Okay, so that was our pilot hole. All right, so we're through that part. We got our pilot hole drilled. Used the 3/16. Now, the bolts we're going to use on this puller, you could probably get by with a 1/4 20, which means you'd use like a number 7 drill bit, and then use a 1/4 inch 20 thread per inch tap, standard 1/4 inch national course bolt. However, I was a little afraid. I don't know how tight this really is, so I'm going to use a 5/16 18, which is a 5/16 national course. So for that, it actually calls for a number. If you're familiar with number drills, they're in between the the fractional ones. It calls for a letter F. I said number drill. They make letter drills also. It's a letter F, and I don't have one. But the next closest one, smaller, is a 1/4 inch, and it's about 7,000 smaller. So I'm going to go with that first, and maybe, just kind of not wobble out the hole, but ream it a couple of times with the 1/4 inch and see if I can tap it. Okay, it's not really the ideal way, but I got to understand that most guys aren't going to have a $200 set of letter drills. So anyhow, that's where we're at now. And if you wonder what I'm doing, I got this is on a little trailer. That's why I'm climbing up into it. But okay, so I'm ready to go. I'm going to drill this one out here first. This is a good sharp bit, so shouldn't take long at all. Since I have my pilot drill, it zips right through there. Okay, well now I'm just gonna kind of open it up a little tiny bit there, both of them. We'll set that off to the side. So, all right, so I've got my 5/16 18 tap. Just put some oil in there. Yes, I've got the shakes, I know. And we should be able to, it's always a little ticklish getting it started, right? We want to go right down that hole, get it centered. And hopefully once we get it started, it'll go easily. Okay, so it's a good sharp tap. Look at that, it's going well. Back it up once in a while to break the chips. Maybe put a little bit more oil on that. And it's going well. And I think we should be just about through there. Pretty soon. Of course, we want to go all the way through so we have lots of threads to pull from. Last thing you want to do is get lazy and be too shallow with it and strip the little threads out that you made. Then you're in trouble. Okay, I think we're through. Yeah, we're through. Okay, I'll back that out. And our bolt should fit nicely in there. Very good. Okay, I'll do the other side and we'll set up the puller. Okay, so we've got the holes. We've drilled and tapped 2 holes into the flywheel. And we're ready to put the puller on. And I've got some good quality bolts here. I put a job of grease, my silicone grease, in the end of the crankshaft there, so that the puller can turn on it easily without galling too much. Get that bolt started. Got another washer here somewhere. And I want to put these guys in almost up to the shoulder of the bolt if I can. Get them in there quite a ways. That's about, I think, as far as that one's going to go. All right, I think I'm pretty close here. Turn this. Yeah, the screws are tight. All right. And I didn't show it, but I put a little dab of grease on these threads as well before I started spinning it up in there. It moves really nice and smooth. Okay, so we're ready to start pulling on this, but there's one more thing I got to do. The ring gear for the starter sticks past the bottom here of where these magnetos are. So I want to take these magnetos off and set them out of the way so I don't damage them taking the flywheel off. Let me get a little extension on there. Hopefully I can get those off without breaking the little screws. All right. Of course, it's twin cylinder, so there's 2 magnetos. And you know, so I'd mentioned I'm worried about the magnets on the inside of the flywheel. Those are strictly for the stator windings to generate, you know, 12 volts to the system to keep the battery charged and stuff. There's another magnet on the outside which triggers these magnetos. And it's over on this side of the flywheel, but we'll look at it in a second. All right, so that's loose. And of course they only go in one way, and you'll set the gap when you put it back together, but that's easy to do. They're pretty rusty, eh? I'm gonna be kind of careful with them. Thankfully the sun went behind a cloud a little bit and it's cooled off a little. The temperature isn't actually that hot, but it's really still humid. I mean, it is like, what is today? It's like October 11th or something like that. No. Well, whatever it is. All right, so there's that screw. This should lift off of here. Yes, there's that magnet. You'll see it in a second, but okay. So now I can attempt to pull the flywheel off. So this just takes 3/4 inch wrench. You could do it by hand. I kind of have to cheat a little bit. I got one of these little impact drivers, and it works pretty good. And now, when the audio on this phone usually quits when there's much loud background noise, so it may get really quiet, but it's going to be impacting it. So there is a heap of pressure on that thing right now. So it hasn't budged. So one thing you can do is I could leave the pressure on it, get a torch and heat around the hole in the flywheel. Make that the hole expand a little bit. Sometimes you can give it a sharp rap here and it'll release it too. But these things can be, I mean, they can be kind of explosive when they come apart. So I'm going to try it with the hammer. Give it a rap first. Hopefully I don't have a problem here, right? And I missed, of course, the first time. And I'm going to try and sock it up some more. All right, there it is. Look at that. Okay, see, we got it off. Now let's see if my prediction was correct about those magnets. And what do we got inside? Well, this magnet is busted up. Oh yeah, look. There they are. There they are. They're all supposed to be bonded inside, and they debonded. So, two solutions. I can clean all this up and try and glue these back, or I'll have to replace the flywheel. But anyhow, it's exactly as I suspected. It's the reason I suspected that though is because I had another one that had the same problem here a year or so ago. It took me a lot longer to figure it out. So anyhow, the flywheel's off. I'm going to see if it's worth cleaning up and trying to repair. But you can see that was the problem. Those things were just screaming in there, just dragging when the engine was running. Anyhow, that's all I got for right now. Well, I'll be back and let you know what I decide to do with this. But that gives you an idea of the kind of things, you know, you got to look for this stuff. But when I'm done replacing it, you know, this motor should run a long time yet. Okay, that's all I got. Okay, so that's what we found with the flywheel. It turns out they're pretty expensive. So we're going to try and repair it. And we'll get to that in the next video. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe.